Tommy the Ticket Taker, welcoming you to this year's Vacation Bible School. This year, for VBS, we are visiting IncrediWorld. Today is day 1. We are learning about our incredible God and His incredible creation. Each day, we have an Incrediverse to remember. I got some of our friends to help us out.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Exodus 20:11. That's a real good verse. One of my favorites.
And each day, there is a phrase to remind us of the main point of what we are learning. I got friends to help us with that one too.
In 6 short days, everything was made. In 6 short days, everything was made.
Now, come on in to IncrediWorld.
Well, hey, park riders, welcome to IncrediWorld. I'm Miss Barb.
And I'm Mr. Matt. Now, Miss Barb,
Yeah.
do you like amusement parks?
I love amusement parks. I try to go, every year or two.
Absolutely. I try to go all the time because you know what I love?
What?
The roller coasters. And I say the taller, the faster, and the more times they go upside down, the better.
I get a little sick with a little upside down thing.
Ooh,
you know?
really?
But you know what I love?
What do you love?
I love the animal shows because I am so fascinated by the amazing world that God has created that I just love going to those shows.
Yeah, and that's what makes IncrediWorld the greatest amusement park that you could ever
That's right.
visit.
Here we are at our special effects theater. And when we do our special effects, kids, you're going to follow Mr. Matt, okay?
Yep.
So you might be reading what he's reading or doing what he's doing or whatever, okay? So just follow along.
I'm the special effects, and you're my helpers.
All right. So we're going to find out what was happening at the beginning when they first made something besides themselves. All right, so we're going to read Genesis 1:1. Ready?
Ready.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay, so we know that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So that's really important because right off the bat, the first words of the Bible say, God is the one that made the world. That's when time began. And He made the first days in 6 days.
Yeah.
He made this all in 6 days.
6 days. Now count to 6 with me. Here we go. And we're going to do it in our biggest, strongest voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That sounded awesome. All right, now let's find out what happened in Genesis 2. All right, let's read this one together.
Okay.
The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. All right, so it says that the earth was without form. All right, Mr. Matt?
Yeah. So if you have a couple containers with water, you can pour the water back and forth with me. And if you don't, that's okay. We can just make sloshing sounds.
All right.
Because water, it's without form.
Yeah, it's without form. I mean, it kind of has, it's inside that cup right now. But if we dump that on the floor, which we're not going to do, but if we did, would it still have the shape of the cup?
No. It'd be all over the place.
It'd just be a great big messy puddle, right?
That's right.
Because it's without form. Well, that's what the earth was like at the beginning. It was without form, okay? And it says it was void, which means it was empty. It didn't have any people on it yet. It didn't have any plants on it yet. It didn't have any animals on it yet. It was without form and void.
And so God was able to make everything out of nothing. That is so amazing to think about. Now think about it. If I wanted to bake a cake, because I love cake.
Oh, they can pretend with you, Mr.
Yeah,
Matthew.
I would need all kinds of ingredients. I would need like flour and sugar and oil and all kinds of stuff. I would need a whole bunch of ingredients. But God was able to create something out of nothing. That's incredible. Now, let's turn the lights out.
So everything is formless and void, and there's darkness. And Genesis 3 says, and God said, let there be light. Turn those lights back on. Yeah, let there be light. And there was light. That's what it says in Genesis 1:3.
Absolutely.
So the first thing God made was light, right?
Yes.
Isn't that cool? And let's see what it says in verse 5. Let's read it together.
Okay.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. So God made it all. He made it with nothing.
So let's review. I'm going to put up this picture, but I'm only going to give you 3 seconds to study the picture. And then I'm going to take it away, and you need to remember what was on it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, it's gone. But do you remember what was on it?
Well, you might have said light, and that would be right. And we know that on the first day, God made light, and he called the light day, and the darkness, which was also on that, he called night. All right, so that's day 1. Let's move on to day 2 together.
All right, so let's start with Genesis 1:6. Boys, read it with me. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters."
And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse, and it was so. And God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. So God created a sky in the middle of those waters. Remember how we talked about how it was formless and void on that day 1? Okay.
Yep.
Now he's made a sky in there.
So let's review. I'm going to put up the picture again for 3 seconds, and you're going to have to remember what God did on day 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Did you say that God made the sky? He separated those waters and he made the sky. That's what happened on day 2. Now on to day 3. Let's find out what God made. It says, and God said, let the waters under the heavens. Remember how we just talked about in day 2 that he made the sky called the heavens and there's water underneath and water above. Okay, so let the water under the heavens, the sky, be gathered together in one place.
Let's gather those waters together. Here we go.
I like that. And let the dry land appear.
Here we go. Ball.
Yep, and it was so. And then God called the dry land.
Ooh, can you guess what he called the dry land? Did you say earth?
That would be right. He called the dry land earth. And the waters that were gathered together, he called
seas.
But he's not done. He's still creating. All right, on day 3, here's the next part. And God said, let the earth sprout plants yielding seed and fruit trees bearing fruit.
Ooh, let's be a fruit tree growing up out of the ground, sprouting and growing
And he
fruit.
says, let's make each of those according to its kind. And it was so, according to its kind.
Yeah, so that means, so if you have a fruit tree like an apple tree, well, they grow apples. And inside the apple, guess what you have? Apple seeds. So if I planted these apple seeds, well, what would grow? Well, an apple tree, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of fruit would that tree have? Apples. And then you get the seeds from there and you can plant those. And guess what? It's going to happen again. I would never be able to get like oranges.
No.
Or peaches.
No.
Or puppies.
No. No.
Or
Definitely
anything
not.
else from an apple seed because it's after its own kind.
So you're going to see that a lot in Genesis 1 where it talks about making things according to its kind. So on this day, God was making all the plants. And it says, God saw it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the third day.
All right, so I'm going to put up the day 3 poster and give you 3 seconds to see if you can remember what God created on day 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, do you remember what God made on day 3?
There were a lot of different things. We talked about the dry land. He gathered the seas, and then he made all the plants.
That's right.
Okay, on to day 4. It says right here, and God said, let there be lights in the expanse, in the sky of the heavens, to separate the day from the night. Now, can you think of anything that's in the sky?
Ooh, well,
Besides planes,
yeah. Well, for light, there's obviously the sun.
Right?
Right. And at nighttime, there's the moon.
Right. All right. So there's some other things too. So you follow along. You're going to help me with this. All right. And God made the two great lights. The greater light to rule the day.
Oh, that's the sun. So let's make a big sun.
Yep. And the lesser light to rule the night.
Oh, we can make a moon too.
Woo! Okay, and here's something else though. And what other thing are we really forgetting that's in the sky?
Okay, so lights in the sky. I don't know. What is it?
And the stars.
Oh, the stars.
The stars. Now that even has the idea of the planets in it.
Because when I look up in my telescope, the planets, they look like stars.
Yeah, exactly. So the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets. God made all that on day 4.
All right, so let's put up our day 4 image for our 3 seconds, and let's see if you can remember everything that God created on day 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. Do you remember everything God created on day 4?
Did you say the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets? Because if you did, you're right.
That's right.
All right, let's move on to day 5. There's so much cool stuff God made. Let's find out in verse 20. It says, and God said, let the waters swarm. That means be full of. Swarm with swarms of living creatures. And let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. Wow.
Oh, so God is starting to fill those waters with fish. Can you guys do a fish impression with me? Here we go.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that impression. But you know what? That's not all, because it says in the next verse, God created the great sea creatures. It's more than just fish.
Oh, so like octopuses and squids. Yeah, absolutely.
So God didn't just make the sea creatures, he also made all the flying creatures on day 5.
Oh, like birds, like bald eagles, and maybe even pterodactyls?
Yes!
Oh, yeah, so let's put our day 5 poster up, and I want you to take a look at it for 3 seconds, and then you're gonna have to remember what God created. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, what did God create on day 5?
Did you say all the sea creatures and all the flying creatures? Because if you did, you're right. All right, on to day 6. Okay, here we are on day 6 now. This is the crowning thing that God made. It's amazing. All right, so listen up. It's really cool. Let's hear verse 24 first of all. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kind, livestock, and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kind.
Oh, did you say creeping things?
I did.
Does that mean like bugs?
Yes.
And even snakes?
Yeah.
Hey, let's all make a snake sound. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
He made all that on day 6. And he even would have made it said the beasts of the earth. So that would be like lions, tigers, and bears, and all those things you see in the zoo.
Would that also mean like my favorite type of animals to learn about? Dinosaurs? Like land dinosaurs?
Absolutely, because they're beasts of the earth. So he would have made them on day 6 of creation.
Oh, even the T-Rex? Are you guys ready to do your best T-Rex impression with me? Here we go.
Wow, that was pretty impressive. I'm
Yes.
telling you what. So let's read verse 26, and now we're going to see the most amazing thing of all that God made. Read with me. Then God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So now God makes the first people. This is so cool. Right after he made these animals. And let them have dominion over the fish and the birds and the creeping things and the livestock and the beasts. All that stuff we're supposed to have dominion over. Now, dominion means we are supposed to be in charge of all of this. We're supposed to be in charge of the earth, the plants, the animals, and everything, which means God wants us to take good care of it. So let's read verse 31 together now. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. So now everything on earth and in the universe is made, and it's all very good. There aren't any problems.
That would be so cool. Just think about it. A lion and a lamb could hang out together. They could lay down together, and you wouldn't have to worry about them fighting or other animals trying to eat each other or anything like that, because it was very good.
Right. Everybody was vegetarian at the beginning. It tells us that they're going to eat plants, and there wasn't any killing or anything like that. So that's this beautiful world God made.
Let's check out our picture, our 3-second review poster. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, can you remember what God did on day 6?
Did you say that he made all the land animals, even the bugs, the livestock, and the beasts, including the dinosaurs, and he made the first people? If you did, you're right. All right, let's move on to the last day, day 7. So day 7, here's what happened. It says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day, God finished his work that he had done. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work.
Why don't you help me and let's let out a big sigh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ah.
Oh. So he's been creating for 6 days, 6 24-hour days, and now he's resting. Not because he's tired.
No.
Okay, it just means because he's done. And he's setting a pattern for us. You know, we have this 7-day week, don't we? And this is all developed based on this particular Bible passage.
Really cool. So let's put up our review poster, and I'm going to give you 3 seconds to remember what God did on day 7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Do you remember what God did on day 7?
Did you say he rested? Because that's what he did. Now, we've gone through all our days. We've gone through the 7th day when God rested.
Wow, that was great. Check out the links in the description below. There's a daily video, there's the theme song, creature features, a drama video, a puppet show, science experiments, snack video, and craft video. Well, what are you waiting for? There's more VBS fun to be had. Click below. Well, I gotta go check it out.